We're talking about the 42nd Councilmatic District, and we have another candidate with us today who is running for council member of our particular district, Assemblyman Charles Barron. Welcome to meet the candidate. Assemblyman, introduce yourself, or in the words of JC, reintroduce yourself to the folks.
Well, I'm Assemblyman Charles Barron. Been living in the district for over 30 some odd years, and I'm a candidate for the New York City Council District here in the 42nd District.
So I think it'd be helpful to our folk to understand the role of a council member. We all know that last year, people came out in record numbers to vote. And I think in most cases, people were voting against a candidate, and that's what drove the numbers up. And we see so far in early voting that the numbers are not as high as they should be. Would you tell people why is it important to vote in this election, and especially for a council seat?
This is a critical time we're living in because of what the pandemic devastated our community. The power of the city council, it is the council member that joins his colleagues and her colleagues and passes the budget, not the mayor. He introduces it. It's the council member that has to pass all the legislation, not the mayor. He can only introduce it through a council member. And most importantly, the council has power over land use, what's going to be built on city-owned land, and then oversight over city agencies, particularly agencies like NYCHA and other city agencies that really need oversight.
Okay, so you just said NYCHA. Let's talk a little bit about public housing. As you know, East New York has a plethora of public housing and therefore public land. What is your plan when it comes down to public housing? You know, RAD, PACT, Blueprint, all of these designations, the privatization of public housing, to which EBC, we stand against that, Metro IF, St. Paul Community Baptist Church. What is your position when it comes to public housing?
Totally against privatization of public housing, and we don't have to do it for two reasons. Number one, they want to transfer Section 9 money in NYCHA, which is public money, to Section 8 so that they can give it to a private developer. If they're stuck on that, then I say transfer it to the residents. The people that live in NYCHA should be the ones that manage NYCHA, not outside private entities. The people should manage it. That's number one. Number two, they're talking about $40 to $80 billion coming from the feds. NYCHA has about a 30 some odd billion dollar plus capital need to fix up NYCHA. I'm not pleased with the management of NYCHA. So I'm concerned that even if we do get the $40 billion, that oversight in the management of NYCHA is key. And I think that should be coupled with resident ownership, not private ownership with NYCHA. We've been meeting with the developments out here that they're trying to push RAD on and push PACT on. We say, why don't you just hold up? Hold up on it. We've been in a pandemic. We couldn't meet in person.
Right.
So why don't you stop pushing this on residents, giving them misinformation? We had lawyers talking to some of the residents. We've been meeting with the president, the leaders of Boulevard, the leaders of Linden Houses, and the leaders of Penn Workman. And we say the bottom line, Pastor, no matter what I want and what I like, I don't have to live there. They do.
Right.
So I'm against privatization, but whatever the will is of the residents is what we'll try to facilitate in the best of their interests.
So, Assemblyman.
No, that's a good, you said it. Y'all heard it here first. He declared me the council member.
Well, let me put it this way. So you just mentioned the ineptitude of NYCHA. Mm-hmm. We think that some version of a school construction authority type of structure might be helpful when it comes down to capacity and transparency. How do you feel about that?
See, that might work if we have residents involved in that, if we have the local elected officials involved in that, and we hold a team of stakeholders to hold these guys accountable. Because even when I get my little money, when I get $4 million to put in for cameras and stuff like that. It takes me years just to get it in. The cameras we did at Pink and Boulevard and some other places. So even when you get the money to NYCHA, we in my office and in the council member's office, the president council member's office, we have to stay on their case just to get it through that red tape and that system. So that kind of authority or some kind of vehicle that's going to hold them accountable, I think is critical to go along with the money.
Let's talk about affordable housing in this district. And historically, there's been tremendous work done, Nehemiah and others, to create affordable housing. What is your commitment to continuing that legacy and the work of affordable housing?
You know, one of the good things about being an incumbent and having 12 years in the city council, which I did have, and being able to have the say-so, the final say on what's going to be built on city-owned land, East New York has the most affordable housing of any district in the district, and I would say in the city, and I would say in the state, because of the work that we did together between our office and Nehemiah. We have more affordable units. I left it at 12,000, 14,000, that's probably up to 16,000 now. We are not gentrified. No matter how many white folk you'll see walking around or on the train, they're passing through, we are not gentrified. Matter of fact, the facts of the matter is when we came into office in 2001, the black population was 67%. Now I'm hearing numbers up to 73 and 76%. 94% of our district is black and brown. And because we understand with the AMI, the area median income of our district is $36,000 for a family of three.
Right.
When the developer comes to us, we get that AMI straight, and we make all housing affordable to us. Everybody says affordable housing,
right,
but affordable to who?
Affordable is what we're talking about.
There you go.
So lastly, let's talk about education. If there's one thing this pandemic has unveiled or emphasized is the inequity in the system. Broadband is no longer a luxury. It's a necessity. What's your commitment to our children, broadband, and education?
Well, you know what? We already addressed it. A lot of candidates are going to come before you and point out the problem. Anybody could do that.
Right.
What has been your solutions? In my short time, 6 years in the state assembly, we got something passed this year that I've been fighting for the longest, and so has Inez Barron, the council member, and that's the campaign for fiscal equity money. They owed us $4 billion, and we couldn't get more than $500-600 million a year. This year, we got a commitment of $1.4 billion for the next 3 years to pay off the debt, which will include money for broadband. Also, in our area, when we looked at the small businesses, which has a lot to do with education too, we got $1 billion for small businesses, and for rent, we got $2.4 billion from the state for rent relief and $576 million for homeowners, for mortgage relief. So, you know, you got to look at, when you see education, you got to look at the wraparound services, you know, mental health, counseling. And one of the things I'm going to fight hard for is community control over our schools. That is critical. And I've been speaking with the past chancellor who's out now, but the new one, we want to control our schools, the curriculum, who the teachers are going to be, what the vision is going to be. The community should have control. That's what Ocean Hill-Brownsville was all about, community control over the schools. So I'm very, very interested in those who want to work with us so we can say that where is the sports programs and the cultural arts programs? We don't even have 21st century libraries. We had to fund for new libraries. And we want to make sure that when you talk about education, a culturally relevant curriculum, the thing that you do with the Ma'afa, that should be in all of our schools. What we're doing out there to make sure that Sankofa Park, which we changed in that's a cultural center. Culture is critical for academic excellence.
Let me ask you this in close. First of all, if you emerge from this race the winner, would you be willing to meet with East Brooklyn congregations as we continue to do the work of development in this city?
Absolutely. I've met with you in the past. I'm going to continue that. We're going to meet even more because I think the future of this city is going to be what the city council members do because of the power. We're talking about a $98 billion budget this
Right.
year, and it'll be probably over $98 billion. It'll probably be on $100 billion in one city. Countries don't have that.
Correct.
So I think our partnership, as it has been in the past, you've sat in my office many times and we've approved projects, and you've always made sure that these projects were affordable for our people.
You
and
can
we
say
work
that
together.
to the camera. We've always
He's
made sure our projects.
He's always made it affordable for our people, and we work together over the years, and I can and tend to continue that kind of relationship.
Okay, so here's what I need you to do. That camera right there is all yours. Tell St. Paul Nation, the city of New York, why you should be the next council member of the 42nd District.
St. Paul's, we need a leader out here that is unbought, unbossed, not afraid to speak truth to power, but at the same time deliver affordable housing, quality education, health care to our district. This is what we've done over the years. And I'm excited to say that this was the first time in the history of this state that my reparations bill passed in the state assembly 107 to 43, a reparations bill. Nowhere in the country is there a bill that gives the community the majority of the seats on the commission. All other commissions, the majority goes to the state. That was passed in the state assembly. We made history with that, and we're going to now push it on the Senate. In addition to that, we need experienced leadership with a proven record. Not people coming talking about new leadership, time for a change. Those are the regular raps that people run down that want to be elected. Just because you're a new face doesn't mean you have new ideas. We have new ideas. We have a proven track record. 3 new $100 million schools, 5 parks renovated, $40 million worth of scholarships for CUNY students, a black male initiative in CUNY. We have renovated so many schools in our district. We even have recording studios in our district. The PJ Center, the community center, Prince Joshua Vito Community Center, came under our watch. I could spend the rest of this taping talking about our accomplishments. It's time for unbought, unbossed, daring leadership that has the experience to deliver for our community, especially during this pandemic. We delivered thousands of masks, hundreds of thousands of masks, gallons of sanitizer. We fought to make sure we had vaccination sites and testing sites in our community, and we worked hard to make sure that Brookdale, the hospital that many of us use, had the staffing and the PPE that they needed. So Charles Barron, vote me #1 as your #1 choice for proven, professional, productive leadership. I thank you all, St. Paul.
Assemblyman, I want to say best of luck to you, and thank you for being with us, and thank you for sharing your views. St. Paul Nation, I cannot tell you who to vote for, but as your pastor, I'm telling you, vote like your life depends on it, because it does. This is Pastor Brawley. Blessings.